Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. Israel receives bodies of 2 hostages from Gaza. Identification process underway. Netanyahu warns Gaza conflict not over until Hamas disarms. Pakistan and Afghanistan agree to immediate ceasefire at Doha mediated talks after deadly cross-border clashes. No Kings protests erupt across US as thousands rally against Trump administration's policies on immigration, education and security. Demonstrations also in Canada and Europe. In a crucial showdown at Women's World Cup, India aimed to bounce back after 2 consecutive defeats, while England eyes semi-final berth at Indore. And the holy city of Ayodhya gears up to celebrate the Grand Deepotsav on the banks of Saryu River, marking the homecoming of Lord Ram. Israel has received the remains of 2 hostages from Gaza via Red Cross as the fragile ceasefire teeters on the edge of collapse. The bodies transferred late Friday by Hamas are undergoing forensic identification at Abu Kabir Institute. Preliminary reports suggest they belong to 28-year-old in Bar Haman from central Israel and 39-year-old Muhammad al-Atrash, a Bedouin soldier from the Negev. Both were killed during October 7, 2023 Hamas attack. This handover brings the total deceased hostages returned to 12 out of 28 agreed upon in last week's US broker deal. Hamas claims it has exhausted accessible sites but needs specialized equipment to recover the rest amid Gaza's rubble-strewn ruins. Israeli officials dispute this, alleging the group holds more remains and is delaying to evade disarmament. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned on Saturday that the conflict is not over until Hamas fully disarms and all hostages are returned. Netanyahu, in a late-night Israeli Channel 14 address, reaffirmed Israel's readiness to resume military action if ceasefire terms fail, mirroring Trump's stance. Families mourn amid hope and fury, with vigils lighting up Tel Aviv. Mediators urge patience, estimating weeks for full recovery, but public pressure mounts for phase 2, which involves permanent truce and governance overhaul. Now, the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt will remain closed until further notice. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office announced on Saturday, dashing hopes for its Monday reopening. The decision hinges on Hamas fully complying with ceasefire terms, particularly handing over the remains of all 28 deceased hostages. Only 12 have been returned so far, including 2 more late Saturday via Red Cross. This comes after Palestinian embassy in Cairo announced the crossing's planned reopening for Gazans returning from Egypt, but Israel refuted it swiftly, citing security and truce integrity. The US brokered ceasefire, effective since October 10, mandates increased aid flows and reconstruction aid trucks queue on Egypt's side, but entry is rerouted through Israeli-controlled Kerem Shalom, averaging 560 tons daily. UN officials warn of malnutrition deaths exceeding 400, urging mediators to expedite. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared Saturday he will seek re-election in November 2026 vote, confidently predicting a win despite mounting scrutiny over the Gaza war. In a Channel 14 interview, the veteran Likud leader, Israel's longest-serving PM with over 18 years in power, dismissed calls to step down after October 7, 2023 Hamas attack that killed 1,200 and sparked the conflict. Latest updates show Netanyahu's approval hovering at 32% as per a Sunday Channel 12 poll, buoyed by US President Trump's endorsement. but battered by hostage families' fury and judicial overhaul backlash. Opposition leader Yair Lapid branded the government illegitimate, demanding snap polls. Netanyahu ties his bid to victory against Hamas, including disarmament, as protests swell and ICC probes intensify. All right, and news just coming in. Israeli army says remains of another hostage identified. Israel earlier received the remains of 2 hostages from Gaza via the Red Cross. So this is the news just coming in. Israeli army has said the remains of another hostage has been identified, and this is the latest that we are tracking in this story, that Israeli army says that remain of another hostage has been identified. Now, Afghanistan and Pakistan have agreed on an immediate ceasefire following high-level talks in Doha. Qatar's foreign ministry announced on Sunday, mediated by Qatar and Turkey, the Saturday negotiations led by Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif and Afghanistan's Mullah Muhammad Yaqoob aim to end a week of deadly clashes along their 2,600-kilometer border, the worst since Taliban's 2021 takeover. The violence, triggered by Islamabad's demands for Kabul to curb cross-border militants, killed over 50 and wounded hundreds, including civilians. A 48-hour truce extended Friday held despite alleged Pakistani airstrikes in Paktika province, which Kabul decreed as violations. Both sides pledged follow-up meetings to sustain the ceasefire, establish verification mechanisms and foster lasting peace. All right, shifting focus now. Millions of people took to the streets across US on Saturday. No Kings marches opposing President Trump, with demonstrations unfolding in more than 2,500 cities across all 50 states and several European capitals. Protesters in Washington, D.C. gathered near the National Mall to protest against Trump's policies. "This is what democracy looks like," chanted thousands near the U.S. Capitol, where the federal government was shut down for a third week amid a legislative deadlock. The rally in New York City's iconic Times Square drew thousands of people as the rally began on Saturday. The streets and the subway entrances were densely packed, with people holding up signs with slogans like "Democracy, not monarchy." In Chicago, demonstrators filled the streets as Donald Trump's administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday to allow his deployment of National Guard troops to Illinois, as the Republican president moves to dispatch military personnel to a growing number of Democratic-led locals and expand the use of the armed forces for domestic purposes. And protesters spanning all age groups took to the streets in Seattle for No Kings rallies, denouncing what they view as authoritarian tendencies and unbridled corruption of President Trump. Protesters also rallied in Atlanta, denouncing Trump with a "No Kings" message amid accusations of authoritarianism and threats to democracy. Crowds also packed the streets of Los Angeles as part of No Kings rallies. Protesters said they fear the deployment of troops and policy rollbacks mark a deeper erosion of civil liberties. Prominent Democrats, including Sen. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, as well as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, joined protesters in several sites, framing the day's marches as a defense of democracy and civil liberties.
In the year 2025, in this dangerous moment in American history, our message is exactly the same. No, President Trump, we don't want you or any other king to rule us. Thank you very much, but we will maintain our democratic form of society. We will not move toward authoritarianism in America. We, the people, will rule. We rejected the divine right of kings in the 1770s. We will not accept the divine right of oligarchs today.
As cities across the U.S. host No Kings rallies, anti-Trump demonstrators also gathered near the U.S. consulate in Toronto on Saturday for the No Tyrants protest. Some 300 protesters held signs and dressed up in costumes as they spoke about against what participants view as President Donald Trump's autocratic tendencies and anti-democratic actions. In Germany too, protesters gathered in Berlin on Saturday to participate in a No Kings event opposing US President Trump's policies. The demonstration, part of a broader global mobilization, featured attendees holding signs, wearing costumes and waving flags. Berlin participants emphasized the international significance of the protest. All right, DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us live to talk more on this. Hi, Akshay. First, let's make us understand this. What's triggered these No Kings protests against President Trump? What's the main issue uniting demonstrators under this banner?
Well, Abhishek, that's the thing. There is no singular issue that has led to these protests, and it has been a culmination of different things and policies, decisions that the Trump administration has taken, especially since he has taken over for the second term. Now, those includes, issues regarding immigration, issues regarding, policies when it comes to the healthcare, when it comes to social security, when it comes to the budgetary allocation. And once, the government shutdown began, the way he tried and targeted the Democrat-ruled state, especially, when he said that the shutdown can be used as a good opportunity to remove, dead wood and, the things that are not efficient according to him. So the things that he's doing, the policies that he's making, even the policy makers that are with him are supporting in any and every decision that Donald Trump is making, whatever is coming to his mind. But it's not being discussed, it's not being debated. The voice of the opposition is not being taken into account. The voice of the Democrat-ruled states and the senators, along with other congressmen, are not being taken into account. So it's a unilateral way. The way Donald Trump has been taking decision is what the U.S. Protesters are saying. And this has been a culmination. We have seen that there were protests repeatedly in the universities of U.S., including Columbia University, other universities across the country. So now what we are seeing is that the government did not give any kind of safety valve to the people to let out their anger, to voice their opinion, and to voice their opposition to some of the policies of the Trump administration. And now, this is an outburst of those dissent, those oppositions. And U.S. is a democratic government. If the elected president has to make any decision, he has to also take into account the voice of dissent, the voice of opposition, of ordinary people, and the way they are thinking, and not take unilateral decisions like a king would. So that is why the protests have started, and it seems that and the protests are there to stay, and they'll continue in months to come up in even more intensity if things are not changed within the U.S. government.
All right, actually, you're saying policies, immigrations, it have been the issues among others, but how significant is the timing coming amid the ongoing government shutdown and also debates over troop deployment?
Well, yes, troop deployment is one of the major issue that I missed there, Abhishek, because, the way troop deployment is being done, be it in Washington or in other states, the Republican-ruled government states are not seeing that, massive of troop deployment or push by the Trump administration as it is there for the Democrat-ruled states. So the decisions that are being taken are being seen as unilateral and arbitrary decisions, and the troop deployment is being seen as a violation of privacy of the people. However, there are certain areas where these kind of troop deployment will maintain peace, but it also hampers the the liberty at a citizen's level. So these are the things. And as far as timing is concerned, yes, it's quite pertinent to note the timing as well. But we also have to understand that the shutdown has also forced the protesters to come out of their homes.
Yeah.
Because many of the federal employees have lost their jobs, many of them are not being paid, and the government is in a turmoil, and the Trump administration is making no effort to change the things, to make the budgetary allocation to happen and the shutdown to end. So that perhaps is also one of the reasons, and it shouldn't be seen as a conspiracy during the shutdown, but the shutdown can be seen as a reason, according to us, as far as the situation is concerned.
Yes, Akshay, and also this is not limited to the US itself. We have seen similar protests outside the US as well, Germany, Canada. Tell us, how coordinated is this global response?
Well, it's to be honest, the protests against U.S. government in Germany do not make much of sense
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
as far as the policies of the U.S. government is concerned, they directly impact the U.S. citizens. And if the protests have to happen, they have to happen by the U.S. citizens. It's like saying Indians protesting against the U.S. policies in India, so that doesn't make much of sense. So we'll see how that turns out to be. But as of now, the protests continue in the U.S.
All right, Akshay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Time now for a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. All right, Japan's Liberal Democratic Party and the right-leaning Japan Innovation Party agreed to form a coalition government. Bolivia will choose between two right-wing figures in presidential elections on Sunday, ending 2 decades of socialist rule. And Mexican Alberijas parade showcases colorful papier-mâché sculptures ahead of Day of the Dead.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek. Mahajan. Some more stories. Repairs on damaged off-site power lines to Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant commenced on Saturday following local ceasefire zones established by Russian and Ukrainian forces, IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi announced on X. The 4-week outage since September 23rd, the longest since Russia's 2022 invasion, has relied on diesel generators with no safety lapses reported as reactor coolant temperatures remain stable. The complex plan, spanning both sides of the front line, is expected to take a week. Both nations confirmed cooperation, emphasizing nuclear security. Ukrainian Minister Svitlana Herenchuk stressed reconnection to Ukraine's grid to avert incidents. Moscow claims control while Russia builds alternative lines to its network. The plant's 6 reactors, once powering 1/5 of Ukraine's electricity, remain shut amid mutual accusations of sabotage. Now, Bolivia will choose between two right-wing figures in presidential elections on Sunday, ending 2 decades of socialist rule. Right-wing former President Jorge Tuto Quiroga and center-right ex-mayor Rodrigo Paz go head-to-head in Sunday's runoff, which brings the curtain down on 2 decades of socialist rule launched by coca farmer Evo Morales in 2005. The winner of the election will be inaugurated on November 8. Rodrigo Paz was the surprise victor in the first round of voting despite registering less than 10% in early polling. He carried more than 32% of the votes in the August 17 general elections, while his rival Quiroga came in second place with nearly 27% of the votes. Neither met the threshold to win the presidency outright, which would have required winning 50% of the vote or 40% with a 10-point margin over the nearest competitor. Now, Australia's Labor government defended its $1.62 billion agreement with Nauru to deport hundreds of non-citizens with criminal records over 30 years, as per Home Affairs Ministry Tony Burke's announcement on Sunday. The deal, signed in September, grants deportees 30-year work visas in Nauru, a Pacific nation of 12,000. Human Rights Watch has condemned the plan, citing past deaths from medical neglect and suicide among asylum seekers sent there. Nauru locals voiced mixed sentiments about integrating deportees. The policy revives criticism of Australia dumping refugees on small islands with no appeal process for denied visas, sparking human rights debates. Now, US President Donald Trump announced on Saturday that 2 suspected drug traffickers from a US military strike on a fentanyl-laden drug-carrying submarine in the Caribbean are being repatriated to Ecuador and Colombia for prosecution. After the attack killed 2 others, the Thursday drone strike, the 6th in September, targeted a semi-submersible vessel on a narco-trafficking route near Venezuela, which Trump claimed held enough drugs to kill 25,000 Americans. Colombian President Gustavo Petro confirmed receipt of the national on X social media platform, while Ecuador's government expressed unawareness of plans but welcomed cooperation. The Pentagon released black and white strike footage Saturday amid a U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean, 6,500 troops, destroyers, F-35s and a nuclear sub escalating tensions with Venezuela's Maduro, who decried sovereignty violations. Now, at Camp Pendleton, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance joined thousands of Marines and their families to mark the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. The Vice President laid a wreath at the Marine Corps Monument, paid tribute to fallen soldiers and praised the force's legacy of courage and discipline. The event featured a parade, flypast and a reenactment of historic battles, celebrating 2.5 centuries of service to the nation. Moving on, a 17-mile stretch of Interstate 5 near Camp Pendleton shut Saturday for the U.S. Marine Corps 250th anniversary as live artillery fired overhead during ceremonies attended by Vice President J.D. Vance. The closure, ordered after highway patrol warnings of driver distractions, caused massive traffic jams linking LA and San Diego. Governor Gavin Newsom blasted the move as ego over responsibility, calling it dangerous amid his feud with President Trump's White House. Marines insisted on safety, citing routine protocols. It coincided with nationwide protests against Trump's hardline agenda, including June's National Guard deployment for LA immigration raids, which Newsom slammed as overreach. Now, Japan's Liberal Democratic Party, which is LDP, and the right-leaning Japan Innovation Party, ISHIN, have agreed to form a coalition government. Kyodo News reported on Sunday, bolstering LDP leader Sane Taikichi's bid to become the country's first female prime minister. The pact, finalized after intense policy talks, includes ISHIN's support for Takaichi in Tuesday's parliamentary vote, though no initial cabinet post for ISHIN. The alliance follows Komieto's abrupt exit from 26-year LDP coalition last week, triggered by scandals and election losses. The LDP pledges to pursue zero consumption tax on food and ban corporate donations, aligning with ISHIN's reform agenda. Opposition Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, rebuffed by ISHIN, nominated Yoshihiko Noda as its PM candidate, vowing to challenge the bloc. Markets rallied 1.2% on stability hopes, but critics decry the shift towards hawkish policies on security and constitutional reform. Takaichi eyes swift confirmation amid global trade tensions. In Bangladesh, flights have resumed at Dhaka airport late Saturday evening, hours after a fire in cargo section delayed flights and halted operations on Saturday. The flight operation resumed after the fire completely brought under control. Operations at the Hazrat Shahjalal International Airport was suspended after the fire broke out in cargo section of the airport. The Army, Navy and Air Force also joined the fire service in efforts to bring the blaze under control. Now, Pope Leo XIV will canonize or officially declare 7 saints on Sunday in St. Peter's Square on World Mission Day, including Papua New Guinea's first saint, Peter Torot, a catechist killed during World War II. Others include Armenian Bishop Ignacio Maloyan, martyred in 1915, Venezuela's Doctor of the Poor Jose Gregorio Hernandez, and former satanic priest Bartolo Longo, founder of Pompele's Rosary Shrine. 3 nuns, Maria Troncati, Vincenza Poloni and Maria Rendiles Martinez dedicated to the sick and poor complete the list. This marks the US Pope's second canonization since May, following Carlo Acutis and Pier Giorgio Frassati last month. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Ajaccio in Corsica has unveiled Angelo, a brand new urban cable car aimed at easing traffic congestion. The 12-minute ride connects the city entrance to Mazzavia district, though public opinion remains divided despite the project's swift 18-month completion. Now, Tehran's new Mariam Holy Mary metro station features art blending Christian and Persian motifs aiming to symbolize interfaith respect and honor the Virgin Mary. Located near an Armenian church, the station's design reflects Iran's constitutional recognition of religious minorities and the Virgin Mary's status in both Christianity and Islam. The British Museum held its first fundraising ball, dubbed by some as London's answer to New York's Met Gala on Saturday. The event was themed pink and was attended by many celebrities, artists and prominent figures. The monumental Alibarijes parade, a colorful procession of massive papier-mâché folk art sculptures, was held in Mexico City on Saturday. The annual event, organized by the Museo de Arte y Popular, celebrates Mexican arts and crafts. It serves as a prelude to the Day of the Dead festivities. Now, Mexico City's streets turned into a chilling scene on Saturday as thousands of zombie enthusiasts took part in the annual Zombie Walk, showcasing ghoulish costumes and detailed makeup. The Zombie Walk initially began in Sacramento, California in 2001 and has since spread to cities globally. In Peru, thousands of Peruvian Catholic worshippers, many dressed in purple robes, followed the Lord of Miracles procession winding through the downtown streets of the capital city of Lima on Saturday. The event was joined by country's newly elected President Jose Cherry. All right, time now for another short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. The holy relics of Lord Buddha to return to India after week-long exposition in Russia's Kalmykia. India's Chandrayaan-2 orbiter makes history, detects sun's coronal mass ejection impact on moon's exosphere. And India gears up for Diwali celebration as the country is all set to celebrate the Festival of Lights.
One of India's newest states, one of India's oldest lands, Jharkhand is a hidden treasure house of many wonders, from quaint towns to prehistoric rock art. From thrilling adventure sports to historical heritage sites. Discover your spiritual awakening among revered ancient temples.
The month of Shravan in the monsoons is dedicated to Lord Shiv, and that is when the temple gets its maximum footfall.
Johar.
Feed your body and soul with Jharkhand's incredible spread of cuisines.
बहुत टेस्टी लगा.
Come and explore Jharkhand for an experience like never before. Postcard.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek. Mahajan, recap of our top stories. Israeli army says remains of one of two hostages returned by Hamas on Saturday identified. Netanyahu reiterates Israel would spare no effort until all the fallen hostages are repatriated. Pakistan and Afghanistan agree to immediate ceasefire at Doha mediated talks after deadly cross-border clashes. No Kings protests erupt across US as thousands rally against Trump administration's policies on immigration, education and security. Demonstrations also in Canada and Europe. In a crucial showdown at Women's World Cup, India aimed to bounce back after two consecutive defeats, while England eye semi-final berth at Indore. And the holy city of Ayodhya gears up to celebrate the Grand Deepotsav on the banks of Saryu River, marking the homecoming of Lord Ram. India's Chandrayaan-2 orbiter made history on Saturday with its Chase-2 instrument, capturing the first ever observation of a coronal mass ejection impacting the moon's exosphere on May 10, 2024. ISRO reported a surge in day-side lunar exosphere pressure with neutral atom density rising over 10-fold, confirming theoretical models. The moon's fragile surface-bound exosphere, lacking a magnetic shield, is highly sensitive to solar wind and CMES, which in fact liberate surface atoms. The milestone offers insights into lunar space weather and challenges for future lunar bases, as extreme solar events could temporarily alter the environment. Moving on, the holy relics of Lord Buddha will return back to India after a 3 weeks long exposition in Elista, the capital of Republic of Kalmykia in Russia. The Indian delegation, led by Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, will bring back the holy relics of Lord Buddha on Sunday. The relics, originally enshrined at the National Museum in New Delhi, was ferried to Russia in a special Indian Air Force aircraft and reached Elista on October 11. As part of the exposition, it was later temporarily enshrined in the main Buddhist monastery in Elista, known as the Geren Sherab Choikorling Monastery, also called the Golden Abode of Shakyamuni Buddha. The historic exposition, the first of its kind in the Russian Republic, is a testament to the deep civilizational bonds between India and Russia. It revives the enduring legacy of the 19th Kushok Bakula Rinpoche, the revered Buddhist monk and diplomat from Ladakh, who was instrumental in reviving Buddhism in Mongolia and reigniting interest in Buddha Dharma in Russian regions like Kalmykia, Buryatia and Tuva.
यहाँ आने के बाद ये विश्वास और दृढ़ हुआ है कि कलमिनिया के लोगों में भगवान बुद्ध को लेकर के बड़ी श्रद्धा है। और सुबह स्टेट अफेयर के साथ मीटिंग में मुझे ये जानकारी मिली कि हर पांचवां नागरिक यहाँ का वो होली रिलिक्स को देखने गया है। इस प्रांत में विशेष रूप से भगवान बुद्ध को लेकर के और भारत को लेकर के लोगों के मन में जो आदर भाव है वो निश्चित रूप से सराहनीय, और भारत सरकार ने बहुत सोच समझ करके एक कदम उठाया। इससे आने वाले दिनों में भारत, कलमिनिया और रूस के संबंध और प्रगाढ़ होंगे।
And the holy city of Ayodhya glows with divine fervor as Deepotsav 2025 preparations are at peak, aiming for a Guinness World Record with over 2.6 million diyas across 56 banks of river Saryu. Theme Ayodhya, city of light and devotion, the city dazzles with LED displays and lamp-shaped illuminations along the Rampath, Janmabhoomi Path and Hanumangadi Marg. Guided by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, 33,000 volunteers will craft a radiant spectacle with a 80,000 diya rangoli and virtual diya lighting via Divya Ayodhya app. Last year, 25 lakh diyas lit the holy city, while this year's glow aims to further elevate faith, culture and tourism, drawing millions. A major attraction this year will be a 32 feet tall Pushpak Viman at Ram Ki Paidi, showcasing scenes from Ramayana and giving visitors a vivid experience of the epic. And earlier on Saturday, the Kartavya Path in national capital Delhi was adorned with 151,000 earthen lamps and drones lit up the sky in a Ramayana-themed laser show on Saturday as part of Delhi's first ever Deepotsav event to mark the Festival of Lights. The event unfolded with cultural performances, Ram Katha, storytelling sessions and a breathtaking drone show that illuminated the night sky, captivating thousands in attendance. And Dhanteras, the first day of the 5-day-long Diwali festival, was celebrated with great enthusiasm across the country as people stepped out in large numbers to shop, decorate and perform traditional rituals. From glittering gold purchases to vibrant markets and spiritual gatherings, the day marked the perfect beginning to the Diwali festivities. Shoppers thronged the streets and marketplaces looking for the perfect Diwali gifts, shimmering lights, gold and silver. Decorative lights in vibrant designs are flying off the shelves, with many preferring Indian-made products this year, praised for both quality and affordability. From decorated stadiums lit with thousands of candles to traditional rituals in temples, the festive mood is unmatched. Sellers are optimistic and buyers are enthusiastic, making this Dhanteras a beautiful blend of devotion, sparkle and celebration. And to raise environmental awareness this Diwali, the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board screened a special video at Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, urged citizens to celebrate a cleaner, greener festival by reducing firecracker use and embracing eco-friendly practices. And away from the families, BSF soldiers celebrated Diwali with devotion, duty and unity on border in Jaisalmer with patriotic spirit and festive joy, lighting lamps and carving rangoli in border area. And India's Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav inspected New Delhi railway station on Saturday to review passenger arrangements during the festive season. He said that the station saw a record footfall of around 75,000 passengers. Enhanced facilities like expanded holding areas, additional toilets and more ticket counters have improved passenger movement and security, allowing only ticket passengers the entry.
करीब 75,000 पैसेंजर्स आज आए न्यू दिल्ली स्टेशन पे और ये जो बहुत बड़ा होल्डिंग एरिया बनाया है और जो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ टॉयलेट्स, लार्ज नंबर ऑफ टिकट काउंटर्स और पैसेंजर्स को बेसिकली बाहर लेके आए हैं, प्लेटफॉर्म से बाहर कंप्लीट ये एरिया बना है, इसका अच्छा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। आप अगर देखेंगे तो बहुत ही सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से पैसेंजर्स का इसमें मूवमेंट है और बिना टिकट लिए कोई अंदर नहीं जा पाता है, तो इसका अच्छा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है।
Let's now take a look at other stories making news. The sacred Sri Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain is illuminated with vibrant decorative lights as devotees gathered to celebrate Diwali. The temple's dazzling decor and festive ambience drew thousands of visitors who offered prayers and witnessed the grandeur of the light display, symbolizing the victory of light over darkness. In Golaghat's Deragaon and Jelhua villages in Assam, residents celebrated Kati Bihu with traditional fervour, lighting lamps at homes and in paddy fields. Villagers prayed under Tulsi plant for a good harvest and prosperous life, marking the festival's deep connection to Assam's agrarian roots and cultural heritage. In Udhampur, Jammu and Kashmir, the Integrated Sheep Development Scheme is transforming rural livelihoods by providing free sheep units to below poverty line farmers. The initiative not only revives the region's traditional wool heritage but also instills optimism among farmers for increased income and cultural rejuvenation. In Delhi's Sarojini Nagar market, the Delhi Police Bomb Squad conducted a flag march ahead of the festive season to ensure public safety. The security arrangements include 206 CCTV cameras and 124 police officers on duty. Local residents and shopkeepers praise the increased vigilance, regular patrols and coordination among agencies to maintain peace during Diwali festivities. And the Partition Museum in Amritsar inaugurated the After Partition exhibition highlighting Punjab's post-partition heritage. Running for a month, the exhibition showcases stories of migration, resilience and efforts to preserve Punjab's rich cultural legacy, aiming to educate the public and instill pride in the region's history. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Poor start for India in the first ODI against Australia at Perth as they lose Rohit Kohli and Gill early. And we'll also show you how the Indian Army's Goodwill schools in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are nurturing future generations.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek. Mahajan. Sports updates now. After two losses, the Indian women's cricket team are in a tricky position in the ongoing ICC Women's ODI World Cup 2025 with 2 wins and 2 losses in 4 games. The upcoming clash against a strong England side is a must-win for the women in blue to keep their semi-final hopes alive. The team needs to get back to winning ways, and a victory in this game will be a big morale booster for India. Here's more.
In what could be a crucial encounter with a decisive power of steering India into the semi-final of the ongoing Women's Cricket World Cup, Team India is now all set to face Team England at Indore's Holkar Stadium on the eve of Diwali in the ODI format. Team England remains unbeaten so far with 1 match being abandoned due to rain, whereas Team India started on a good note beating Sri Lanka and then Pakistan, but eventually lost to South Africa and then Australia in the league stage encounters so far.
हम लोग 2 मैच हारे ज़रूर हैं, लेकिन हम लोगों का मोरल काफ़ी अच्छा है क्योंकि 2 मैच हम लोगों ने स्टार्टिंग के काफ़ी अच्छे गए थे. तो हम लोग ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट से जाते हैं और हमेशा पॉजिटिव जो भी हमने एज अ टीम किया हुआ होता है उसके बारे में ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं.
If we look at the head-to-head, India women and England women played 129 international matches across all formats, out of which India women won 50 matches against England women, whereas England won 66 out of 129 matches. In the ODI format, India and England have played 79 matches, out of which India won 36 and England secured victory in 41 matches, with 2 ending in no result. The high-voltage clash between India and England is now all set to take place at the iconic Holkar Stadium situated in Indore, which has the potential of turning out to be a high-scoring game. The Holkar Stadium is known for its flat pitch surface that allows for high-scoring matches at the venue. Batters enjoy batting on a surface with even bounce, a fast outfield and shorter boundaries, which makes it good for scoring some quick runs. While Team England boasts a formidable unit led by Nat Skiver Brunt, Sophie Ecclestone and Charlie Dean, on the other hand, Team India's Smriti Mandhana, Deepti Sharma and Sneh Rana can really prove to be the guns to rely on under big match pressure, as batting deep remains the key to unlock a semi-final spot. The top run scorer for India women in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 is Pratika Rawal, with 180 runs to her name, and she is just 18 runs away from reaching 1,000 runs in women's ODI. The top wicket taker for India women in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 is Deepti Sharma with 9 scabs under her belt, is just a wicket away from creating a record of 150 wickets mark in ODI format and become the second Indian bowler to do so.
In run-up to the semi-final spot, this match becomes really crucial for Team India because it is not only about defeating Team England but also about securing a spot in the semi-finals of the ongoing Women's Cricket World Cup. Whether Team India will add that 6th bowling option and how the batting and the bowling unit are going to perform and roar specifically against Team England at this particular pitch remains to be seen. We'll get you all the latest news updates, stats and facts straight from ground zero. With camera person Ashish, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Indore.
All right, let's go across to Indore now. DD India's Deepika Mehto joins us, who's been covering this match. Hi, Deepika. Crucial game for India at Indore today. India have lost 2 crunch games, one against Australia and then against South Africa before that. First of all, any changes you see in India's playing 11 today?
Good morning, Abhishek. Festive greetings to all our viewers and fans are eagerly waiting for Team India to give them the Diwali gift as India and England would be taking place on the eve of Diwali. And this is a very crucial encounter because England is just 1 point away from today's match to book their place in the semi-finals of the ongoing tournament. Whereas Team India is not facing the same case and they have been struggling of late, as you just mentioned about the results against South Africa and Australia. Now, there were few problems with Team India.
All right, Deepika, there is some issue with the audio. We'll try to connect with you again. But yes, crucial game between India and England today. India have lost 2 crucial games. They lost the last game against Australia and then before that against South Africa also. Those were very tightly contested games. It could have been India's game also. India scored over 300 against Australia. They were doing so well, but again credit to Australia the way they chased down. But yes, it was very important, very crunch game against South Africa which India lost. Deepika joins us again on the phone line. Deepika, yes, I was saying very crucial game today, but any changes do you see in India's playing 11 today?
Good morning. As we are talking about this very crucial game, which is India versus England, England is just 1 point away from securing their spot at the semi-final. Whereas such is not the case with Team India when we talk about it because of their defeats against South Africa and then against Australia. However, they began with a very good note, defeating Sri Lanka and then Pakistan. But right now, there are concerns about the 6th bowling option, which was the question against Australian team match as well. Now, when we asked Deepti Sharma in the pre-match press conference about the option of having another 6th bowling option, she said that the team has done their homework. They have done their strategic part, and right now they are all set and all aggressive to face Team England in the upcoming match today, which is all set to take place at the Holkar International Cricket Stadium, which is a batting-friendly pitch. If we talk about the changes that you asked, Abhishek, Deepti Sharma did not clearly indicate if they are going to add the 6th bowling option. She said that is going to be a decision of the coach as well as the team captain. However, there are options, there are possibilities of adding another bowling option, but so far Team India is looking again very confident, and they also credited to the break that they got, the 5-day break they got after playing against Australia. So all folks are very optimistic about winning the match against Team England at this batting-friendly pitch, Abhishek.
Deepika, also tell us about the weather and buzz there in Indore. Are people looking forward to this crucial game?
Indeed, Abhishek. This particular Women's Cricket World Cup has been a sold-out match. We saw so far that how fans were excited to see Team India play at their own city, and we've seen that how the stadiums were already sold out against Australia as well. And we are expecting a large number of fans to gather to support Team India because this is a Diwali Eve, a Sunday, a weekend. So fans are really excited to support their respective team. And not only Team India, we are also witnessing the gathering of fans from England as well, who come all the way to India to support their respective team and watching them play at this particular ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. If you talk about the weather conditions are very clear. It's going to be a bright sunny day, and because the match starts at 3 o'clock, so starting from 3 o'clock till 11 p.m. because it's a day-night match, the weather is going to hover somewhere around 29 degrees Celsius to 22 degrees Celsius. So the team which goes first will have a slight advantage because of the dew factor. But so far the weather is going to remain very clear for today's match, giving a lot of space to the match and to take for the match to take place smoothly. Abhishek.
All right, Deepika, we'll leave it at that for the time being. But yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. All right, updates now on first ODI between India and Australia at Perth. Australia skipper Mitchell Marsh won the toss and elected to field in the first match of the three-game series. Batting first, India had a poor start with both Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli getting out early and also captain Shubman Gill later getting out cheaply. Rohit Sharma departed early, getting caught at slip of a delivery by Josh Hazlewood. Virat Kohli also failed to impress, scoring an 8-ball duck as Mitchell Starc scalped his wicket. Gill got out on 10. Before rain stopped play, India were 37 for 3 in 11.5 overs. Shreyas Iyer and Akshar Patel are at the crease. In terms of team selection, India's 11th so all-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy earned his maiden ODI cap from Rohit Sharma. The team opted for a pace-heavy attack, naming three seamers Arshdeep Singh, Harshit Rana and Mohammad Siraj. Meanwhile, Australia also gave ODI debut caps to batters Matt Renshaw and Mitchell Owen. All right, DD India's Narayan Singh joins us to talk more on this. Hi Narayan, poor start for India. Top three batters including Rohit and Kohli departing early. Now rain has stopped play, but again a lot will depend on Shreyas Iyer and Akshar Patel and then of course KL Rahul.
We know that condition in Australia, especially at this new Optus Stadium, with team winning the toss and just opting to bowl first are always an advantage. And we know that Australia won the toss and took that advantage because we know that this pitch assists pacers a lot. We know that if you take a record of this pitch, this new Optus Stadium, the number of wickets taken by the pace bowlers is 5 times than that of the spinners. So we know that Australia has a quality pace attack. We know that if they are in groove, definitely they can just dismantle any top opponent. And also we know that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are playing after a long time. They have no international game time. Last time they featured in the Champions Trophy. And suddenly when you come in such condition, in the conditions like Perth, definitely it's difficult for any batter to sustain there for a long time. But we know that down the order, we have an exceptional batting lineup. We have Shreyas Iyer down the order. We know that Akshar Patel too have the quality to just stabilize the innings and take the innings forward. But all in all, I want to say that here, India has the capability. It is the best team right now in the world in the ODI format. If you take a look, their past record, they are unbeaten in their last 8 ODIs. Talking about Australia, we have seen them struggling in the ODIs. If you leave the last match, which they won by a big margin, their record in the ODI recently is not up to the mark. So India still has a chance to, we can say that, recoordinate and assemble the things in the right way because a long way to go in this match. We have the quality batting lineup. So hoping that our down the order of players will just assemble themselves and take the inning forward. Especially, we know that the condition as the day will progress, definitely the condition will get better for the batters.
And break also, rain delay might give them some breather also, some regain in confidence. But again, Narayan, how crucial do you think is series for both Kohli and Rohit in terms of 2027 ODI World Cup? And Nitish Kumar Reddy also handed a debut today. His role would be crucial here in Australia.
Abhishek, if we talk about the Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, we know that I think there is a different opinions coming out from the different people. First, Ajit Agarkar said that regarding the 2027 World Cup, he said that Ajit Agarkar, that he is not committal for them regarding the 2027 World Cup. According to him, it's too far to say about that thing because 2.5 years away, that 2027 World Cup. But we know that what kind of players they are, what kind of legacy they bring. And we know that in the Champions Trophy, if you take a look their form in the recent past, we don't see a big dip in the form of the Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. What kind of winning Rohit Sharma played in the Champions Trophy final, and Virat Kohli, if you take a look, IPL, then the Champions Trophy too, he was, we can say, that instrumental in winning India's Champions Trophy. But after that, Shubman Gill says during the second test match in Delhi that he sees them for the 2027 World Cup because what kind of experience and talent they bring with them, definitely that is going to help them. And finally, Gautam Gambhir says that still 2.5 years is so long to say about their future in the ODI format because you don't know what will be the condition at that time at the 2027 World Cup. But overall, when Gautam Gambhir says that he lives in present, he is taking stock of the present situation. But when the question has been asked about the team, ODI team, when the question was asked about the Shubman Gill, he says that he is looking on the future. They said that they are giving captaincy to Shubman Gill because they want him to give some time and settle him down before the ODI World Cup. In that case, they were looking for the future. But in the case of Rohit Sharma, in the case of, you can say that Virat Kohli, they are living in the present situation. I think the way things are happening, still the Virat Kohli and the Rohit Sharma has the quality and the class. Still, they have the experience that can take the team forward. So I think deciding anything early, it's not good for both Virat Kohli
and this series
and
also
Rohit Sharma.
Yes, this series also will be very crucial for both of them. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs, Narayan. The Indian Army's 43 Army Goodwill Schools in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are nurturing future generations, as highlighted in a recent expose of the Indian Army. These schools, established since 1998, educate nearly 15,000 students, focusing on remote areas. Recent updates show expanded infrastructure, including science labs and sports facilities, and initiatives like robotics clubs. The schools also support special needs children with programs like Baramulla's Dagar Parivar School.
And as an integral part of the community, shares both their joys.
All right, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.